Hi everyone, it's JRP tier list time, but for the PlayStation 1. So this was the best tier list I could find. There was a couple of them, but all of them except this one was missing Beyond the Beyond, which is just a tragedy, really. And there were some other games missing as well. But yeah, this one is pretty good. I'll probably, for the YouTube VOD, I'll link it in the description. For the Twitch chat, I don't know if I can link this without messing this up, so I'm not going to. But anyways, welcome. Hello everyone in the chat. Yeah, we'll just leave the Stardew Valley stuff going for now. We play the intro there for a second there, but okay. Yeah, there was one tier list that was like all the PlayStation games, and I was looking at it, I just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I was just like, I don't think I have enough time to do this. There was a lot of PlayStation 1 games. But alright, so if there's a game on here that I have never played, which we're actually going to be starting with one, I'm not going to put it on the tier list because that's kind of rude, I guess. If there's a game I played it on here that I didn't beat, I will rank it because there's probably a reason I didn't beat. But yeah, let's start with Alundra 2. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I never played it, actually. That brings me to Alundra 1. I did play it, but I didn't click with me, like, at all. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really stick with me for whatever reason. I found the combat kind of like, alright, but nothing awful about it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give that a C tier. That it does have a pretty big following, and I kind of feel like I should go back and try it out again at some point, because maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, I don't think I own it, actually. So finding a copy of that game, I don't know if it's on the PSN, but finding a copy of the game might be a problem. Now, Arc the Lad 1. I love Arc the Lad 1 and 2. Arc the Lad 1 is pretty linear, straightforward strategy RPG. Oh yeah, I guess it can be a strategy RPG and a JRPG at the same time. Genres, they don't really actually matter. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward strategy RPG. It's not breaking any trends. It's not winning too many awards. The story's good, the combat's good, and it leads into, well, not that one, but that one. My cursor's on the screen, right? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know why Arc the Lad 3 appears before Arc the Lad 2. Is that Arc the Lad 3? Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna give Arc the Lad 1 B. It's a short game. Honestly, I think the fastest I've ever beat it, and this is completing everything, including the dungeon with all the floors to get the secret character and the arena. I think it only took me like 6 hours. But that's when I was actually pretty good at strategy games. Not so much anymore. I'm gonna skip over Arc the Lad 3 and we'll come back after we do Arc the Lad 2. Yeah, this is Arc the Lad 2 here, right? Yeah. A little... Yes. Yeah. I didn't mess up the recording there, right? Nah, it looks good. Arc the Lad 2... I think is a pretty great game. You can transfer your saves from Arc the Lad 1 into Arc the Lad 2. It takes over most everything. The equipment system is different, but you can get an extra character this way. You can get just powerhouses, really. Honestly, the characters that transfer over are generally way stronger in Arc the Lad 2. There's gonna be, did I already say there's gonna be some spoilers here and there for this tier list? So don't get mad, but, you know, I'm going to try to not do too many spoilers, but I'm going to probably accidentally slip here and there. But yeah, I'll do my best not to spoil anything significant. But yeah, the overall story is a vast improvement compared to 1. The save transfer stuff is really dope, and it really does impact the gameplay. And yeah, it just... overall, just great experience. I think I'm going to give this an S. Yeah. Yeah, okay. But with an S comes Octolad 3, and I played it, and I didn't like it that much, and I ended up tapping out around, if I remember correctly, the second area you get to. It just didn't have any real holding power to it, and the characters in the game weren't that cool. I think I'm gonna give Octolad 3 a D. Put it in the D tier. Because while I might want to go back and play Alundra to see if maybe I enjoy it more, I honestly don't want to go back and play Octolad 3, if that makes any sense. Maybe I should, but I think for now I'll put it in D tier. It was maybe it's because it came from such a great game with Octolad 2, that going to Octolad 3 maybe to its own detriment. That's why I didn't like it as much. I think you could still save transfer with that as well. I think. Yeah, but we'll put it in D. If I can think of anything else that might want to improve it, but I don't think I will. Graphically, I think 2 was better. Though 3 had a more advanced style. If I remember correctly. Actually, I can barely even remember 3 at all in terms of like visuals. That's kind of a shame. But Octolad 1 and 2, definitely 2. Octolad 1's also really good. But now, one of my favorite PlayStation games, Azure Dreams. This is actually, I think, the first dating sim game that I've ever actually played too. The dating sim stuff is not really what you would think is dating sims, but the premise of this game is you have a kind of a roguelike game where you go into a tower. The layout will be different almost every time. There's some set patterns here and there on some set floors, like the tutorial level when you start, and I think like mid-level there's like a story level, but you only get that once, and then it's RNG every time. You can also improve the town, get a bunch of girlfriends, and just raise monsters. It kind of checks like a lot of boxes for me. And honestly, I didn't even consider it a dating sim until I went back and replayed it. I think after like, I did an update video for it, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is totally like a dating game, because I now have like 5 girlfriends. And it never even struck me when I first played it. But I'm gonna have to give this game, yeah, it's an S. It's one of my favorite games, not just PlayStation games. Never had a PlayStation 1. It's just the tier list kind of hard to follow. Yeah, it's there's a lot of games here. Actually, this one right now I've heard of, Battle Hunter, but I never played it as well. I don't think I've ever seen it in physical form, so there's definitely some games on here that I haven't played, and the more time goes on, the more they get kind of lost to the times. And one game that probably should have been lost to times is Beyond the Beyond. This game is not great, but I kind of love it, but it's not going above a C. It is pretty much everything people don't like about JRPGs wrapped into a game. The encounter rate is absolutely insane. The difficulty on random encounters alone is absurd, and the difficulty spikes on bosses and new areas are also extremely absurd. There's also death, where when you run out of life points, your character dies, and you need to go to a church to revive them. Can you revive them outside of a church? Honestly, I don't think you can. I don't remember being able to. There might be a late game item or spell that does that, but it's not exactly frequent. The story is generic AF, but there's some cool stuff in it. Like the class system is not like Final Fantasy V's, but you do get an advancement class, and it does something that not many other class subsystems do, where it just takes whatever level you get the class change at, it just brings you down to level 1. Now you have those stats, and you start gaining more levels, and you get stronger level ups. That's kind of cool. It can screw over some characters if they're not high enough level when you get the change, but it's still kind of cool. There is some good twists and like a cool little way to get a secret character that I'm not going to go into, but it doesn't happen that often. And I gotta give it some credit. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in B or C tier, because Arc the Lad, objectively, is way better than Beyond the Beyond, but nostalgia for me is making me want to put it in the B tier. This is also a predecessor in company form to Golden Sun. They're made by Camelot, and if you look at like a combat scene from Beyond the Beyond and combat scene from Golden Sun, they'll look pretty similar. Now, I don't really have too many memories of Golden Sun and how they play out, but I'm pretty sure most people like Golden Sun, so I'm assuming they learned their lesson. But I think I'm gonna put this in a B. B? Yeah, B. It's not a good game, though. It's not a good game. What is a good game? Breath of Fire 3. This game is... Jeez, I don't know. It kind of got overshadowed on its release, and Breath of Fire has never been a huge seller, right? It's always been one of those, oh, that's just another RPG that people play, but it's not really, you know, it's not on Final Fantasy 7s or any of the Final Fantasies level, right? But I do think Breath of Fire 3 is probably one of the better RPGs of the era. The story's absolutely just good. It's just above, like, I would say great. The story's pretty great. The graphics are very, very beautiful for its time. Unique as well. And the music is also really good. They also have the dragon transformation system, where you take dragon genes and mix and match and get new dragon transformations. There's also a village that you can expand and upgrade and stuff like that. It's really, really good. And the party members are all, well, okay. Most of the party members are all likable and really play a key part in the story. Okay, all of them do play a key part in the story. One of them is kind of... But overall, I'm going to put this in an S tier because I love it and I want more of it. It is on the PlayStation Network, I think. Not on PlayStation 4, though. Or 5. On PlayStation 3. And you can get the PSP version on Vita. Well, actually, I don't think you can anymore, right? No, you might be able to. I'm not sure if they still have that store open. Yeah. I don't know, actually. I think it is open. I know they changed it that you can't, like, find them on websites anymore. Huh. Well, its sequel, Breath of Fire 4, is, again, really great game. Great story. Less... Well, okay, the dragon transformation system is different in this game, but it's still pretty good. You can't really mix and match genes, if I remember. That's true? Oh man, I haven't played Breath of Fire 4 in a while. It is, in my opinion, I don't think it is as good as Breath of Fire 3. Graphically, it's actually way better, I think. But story-wise, it does have a really good story, actually. I feel like there's going to be a lot of S tiers. I feel like there's going to be some S tiers that are going to be, yeah, it's going to be pretty big, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Breath of Fire 4 I think is S tier as well. It's been a while since I played it. It was I believe, heavily censored when it came from Japan into like Europe and America. One of them made sense. One of them did not. Because it definitely wasn't the most violent thing. So one of the two of the ones, there's 3 censors that I remember. One of the ones, there's like these grown men hitting on teenagers, like part of the party, that they were like, nah, that's not cool. They cut that out. Another one was one of the characters drops her pants at some point for some reason. I think to prove that she was female or something like that. And they were like, well, that doesn't make sense either. And they just kind of didn't do that. I think in the English version, she just steps forward and is like, I can prove I'm a female. And you're like, oh, okay, Jesus, calm down. But I think in the Japanese version, she just drops her shorts or something like that. And then there was the weird one where they don't show someone get their head cut off. I guess in Breath of Fire standards, that's pretty gruesome. Kind of. I mean, Breath of Fire 3, you see a child get stabbed many times, so I don't know. I guess he's not getting decapitated. The last one, like, there's way other games with way more gruesome stuff, and I'm pretty sure they're on this list that, was weird censorship, but it is what it is. But yeah, we'll leave that in S tier or A tier. Well, we're gonna be getting some A tier soon. I can see a few that's gonna be in A tier. I can see one that's definitely gonna be in D tier because I hate that game. That's a little ways away. So we got Brigandine here, which is on paper a game that I really want to enjoy, but for whatever reason, I never made too much headway into it. It was hard. It was just really hard, actually. I think that's the reason why I didn't make too much headway into it. But you get to choose a kingdom at the start of the game, and then you kind of can. It's kind of like Crusader Kings 3, right? You have diplomacy, or you wage war. It's not too advanced. Like, it doesn't have the stuff like Crusader Kings has, but you also have like monster kingdoms in it and units that you can buy, and it's pretty cool, but it had a real hard time keeping my interest in it. Overall, I don't even know if there's a whole story to it. They do have a remaster of it, and I think I'm gonna get it at some point and play it. But yeah, on paper, it's like a game that I should really, really enjoy, but for whatever reason, it never really struck with me. But I don't hate it, so it's gonna go in the C tier. Now, speaking of D tier, we got Chrono Cross, and it doesn't belong anywhere near that. It actually belongs in S tier because that game's amazing. It also has something I really like in terms of RPGs is party members. Now, some of them are pretty meh, but you can recruit a bunch of people. There's New Game Plus, there's multiple endings. The story, for the most part, is really good. I will admit I don't like that it's a sequel to Chrono Trigger, but outside of that connection, overall, isn't that the whole story, Chronos? Well, no. If you ignore like certain little phantom characters popping up, I think the game is absolutely amazing. That does kind of piss me off a little bit with some of the implications, but it's alternate timeline IMO. It's an overall really great game and really fun. Music is amazing. The intro music alone is absolutely fantastic. I think I'd run the Chrono Trigger. If you haven't played Chrono Trigger, I definitely recommend it. The PC version is like, I know it was getting some flack when it first released, but I played it on Charity Stream a couple years ago, I think, at this point, and it was great. It was just a great experience. So I highly recommend it. But overall, yeah, though I will admit some of the characters looked pretty bad back in the day, but they're not awful in terms of aging PlayStation games, right? Some of these games on here, if you throw it in a PlayStation 1, you're gonna be like, oh, that didn't aged fantastically, but they're still playable, right? Actually, even like, I would definitely say like even like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 haven't aged on PlayStation 1 that well. There's that lovely meme of Squall just standing there with his face all messed up because of the pixelation. It's like, you're the most handsome guy here. It just looks like a monster. Like, yeah, okay. But they were great for their time, and while they maybe not have aged perfectly, they're still pretty alright. Digimon World. Well, you know, we'll start with the first Digimon World. This game is unforgiving, super hard, requires a lot of time and patience, a lot of trial and error. It's a B though, because it's pretty fun and it's very hard, and you, like, if you breed the perfect Digimon, like, you get an ultimate, you finally get an ultimate, you're kicking ass, taking names. Oh no, you spent too much time doing it, it's now an egg and you have to start over. Isn't that a kick in the balls, Chronos? Yes, absolutely it's a kick in the balls, but I've spent hundreds of hours on this game, probably. I wish I could find my original save for this game. But yeah, story, who cares? It's a Digimon story. It's all about the breeding and the Digimon and the battles, right? I mean, okay, Cyber Sleuth actually had a pretty good story. Besides that, it's all about the breeding and the battling and the Digimon. It gets a B. Digimon World 2, I really want to beat this game. I really want to like it, and I do to a certain extent. But take, like, the difficulty of 1, amplify it, give you RNG dungeons that you have limited fuel to explore, limited items to heal, extremely slow combat. And I don't mean, oh, it takes too long to, like, kill something. I mean, the time it takes to load the battle, do the attack, take the damage, win the battle, get your reward, is extremely slow. I'm tempted to put it in D, but I did really enjoy it. I never finished it though. I will put it in C because I want to love this game, but it just won't let me. It's like high school all over again. Digimon World 3, way faster. Way more limited though in terms of Digimon you get. You get like, I think there's 9 starters maybe in terms of rookie forms. And you have to build off those starters per stats to get champions and ultimates. Graphically, it's pretty great, I think. Well, okay. For its time, I thought it was pretty great. Some of the backgrounds are not good in terms of upscaling these days, but it's nowhere near as hard as the first two. It's very forgiving compared to the first two, and yeah. Well, there is a. Yeah, I think is there 9 or 10? I think there's one hidden rookie that you can get. I think? I don't think you can get him as part of the starting. Maybe? I don't know. It's been a while since I've even tried to play 3, but it was... I don't know. I think it's a C tier. Like, story-wise, I don't even remember what the story is about. But it is way more limited in terms of how you raise your Digimon, if I remember correctly. So Digimon is like Kaizo Pokemon. Yeah, I would definitely say every Digimon game is way harder than Pokemon. Yeah. Almost assuredly, actually. What is this game down here? The soundtracks in all the Digimon World games are pretty dope. They actually did remake Digimon World 1, kind of, I think. I think Digimon World Next Order is like a remake, kind of Digimon World. I think it takes place in the same world, but don't quote me on that one. What is this game? Dragon Valor. I don't think I've ever played that. Yeah, I don't think I ever played that. Huh. Well, I guess we'll move on to Dragon Warrior 7. Now, Dragon Warrior 7 is a really, really, really good game. It has a really good story. It has really good exploration. It has class system and a good combat system. But I can't put it in S tier. Hear me out. Dragon Quest 7, Dragon Warrior 7, whatever you want to call it, is super hard for me to ever recommend to anyone due to how, like, slow pacing it is. Like, if you start Dragon Quest 7, it is like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, until you get to your, like, first combat. If you're not rushing, if you're rushing it, you'd probably do it a little bit faster, but it takes a while and there is a ton of backtracking, but it is a pretty good game. It does have like a town building system. It does have that class stuff going on. It does have a really good story as well, but I can't, due to how slow it is, I gotta put it in A tier. I feel a little bad about that, so we might move that at the end, but it is just one of those games that's like, wow, this is a really great game. I don't know if I can ever replay it though, because it takes forever to get going. Really, I feel like I must have heard of Dragon Valor at some point. Like, maybe if I see an image of the game or something. I don't know. Oh, I can name my neighbor's new dog. She got a new puppy recently. Her older dog died a few months ago. And she ended up getting a very similar style dog. She brought her over the other day. Super adorable. He did not know what was going on, though. He was just like looking around like, I don't know where I'm at. I've never seen this game. I've never seen Dragon's Valor. I guess I must have heard it at some point. Wouldn't be the only game with the first count. No, but I don't know. It's definitely one of the few games that stick out in my mind as being super slow paced, or have super slow pacing. Now the next game on the list cost $10 at release. They had a marketing thing where it's the next Final Fantasy Tactics. Get ready for a new tactics game. Game was trash. I hate this fucking game with a passion. Normally I try not to say I hate something or that it's just bad. I fucking hate Eternal Eyes. I can't really remember anything from the limited hours that I played of it. I just know whenever I see that cover, I am angry at it. It only cost $10 and I still hold a grudge against it like it wronged me and my family. So it's going in the D tier. It involved puppets, right? Magical puppets, if I remember correctly, that you use for combat. Fuck this game. I don't like this game, like, at all. And I honestly couldn't even justify the hatred for it at this point because I only really remember hating it. The cover's alright, I guess. The cover's stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Look at this game. Eternal Eyes. It's dumb. You're dumb, Eternal Eyes. Anyways, Final Fantasy VIII. Look, okay. So, I'm going to put Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy Tactics in the S tier. I already did a Final Fantasy tier list, and I probably didn't even put. I probably put most of these in tier. I probably put 8 in A maybe. But in terms of like all these games, they're S tier. I love all these games. You didn't put Origins in S tier. I didn't put Origins in S tier. Origins is Final Fantasy 1. They don't have Chronicles, you motherfuckers. Don't yell at the tier maker, Chronos. Sorry, tier maker person. You didn't put Final Fantasy Chronicles on it? It has the best Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy IV, objectively, and Chrono Trigger. Or anthologies. You don't have anthologies? Final Fantasy V and VI? I'm going to put this tier list in the D tier. This is actually the best tier list I could find. I think I already said that. But, yeah. I'll put Origins in A. A. B, so it's Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I really like 2. And I like 1, but they are very bare bones. Well, 1 is very bare bones. 2 is very unforgiving, but has some stuff. I don't know why. Has a juicy meatball, but has some, you know, girth to it. It's very unforgiving though, at least on this one. I feel like I can't talk about these games. Do I have to justify why I put them in S tier? They're great. They're great games. I love them. Hopefully I wasn't able to finish the fight at one point, at the point of no return, so I used cheats. Yeah, I mean, I think the first time I played Final Fantasy VIII, I had to restart it because I was fighting fish for like an hour, and I was like, oh my god, they're just giving me like so much experience points. I'm gonna be jacked. I was not jacked. In fact, I was very limited because everything else leveled up with me. But yeah, I feel like I don't feel like I need to justify why I put those in S tier. They're all amazing games. Final Fantasy Tactics is like probably my favorite strategy game of all time. Maybe that's why I hate Eternalize, because they were like, it's the next Final Fantasy Tactics, and it wasn't at all. I think it wasn't. But anyways, yeah, for Origins though, I mean, I would definitely put the other Chronicle. Well, you know what? No, I wouldn't put Chronicles and Anthologies up here. I would put them in A or B even. Not because the games are bad. They're Final Fantasy IV, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy V, and Final Fantasy VI. They're all classics. They're amazing. They have loading problems though on the PlayStation. They were slow to load. And random encounters, and I think in 4 and 6 were like atrocious when you get into a random encounter. So they would definitely be lower tier. Though they all have unique translations, I think, for, well, no, Chrono Trigger doesn't. But I think everything else has unique translations. Are you gonna sort the games? We can probably do that afterwards, maybe. Yeah, once we go through the entire list, because there's a lot of games. We'll go through and sort them based on actual, like, you know, which should be ahead of the other ones. Let's see. Front Mission 3. Front Mission 3 is another game that I really wanted to enjoy, but for whatever reason, I could not finish. And I honestly can't tell you why. It has mech building, it's a strategy game. It wasn't hard from what I can remember, but I honestly can't really remember it, so I guess I'll just put it. We should probably they're remaking that, aren't they? They're remaking this. I was gonna say we should pick a stream night and just load up the PlayStation 3 because I have the CD. But if they're remaking this, we can just wait until the remaster comes out. It might already be out? No. The remake of wait, what? The remake of Front Mission 2 just came out. Okay, so they're probably working on Front Mission 3 remake. You know what? We'll get to it at some point. Do I want to put it in a tier? I don't think I can, because I can't remember why I didn't play it. If there's actually like, I just didn't like it, then it belongs in D tier. If it's just I didn't have time, I don't know. I think I just won't give it a tier because I can't remember the story, but I remember customizing mechs. I know I didn't beat it. I know the battle system wasn't that bad. I'll just... let's think about this for a second. So, you start the game. You're like a hangar, right? And there's like a couple tutorial battles. I got nothing. I actually have nothing. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. Really? Am I? Yeah, I really can't remember anything from Front Mission 3, huh? That seems wrong. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that seems wrong, but oh well. Oh, I guess we have another Golden Sun on our hands where it's like, I think I played a lot of it, but I can't remember any of it. Yeah, I don't know. Grandia's next. Grandia is a great little game. It has fantastic voice acting, which is very rare for the time, beautiful sprite work in the maps, though some of the building blocks were not that great. Not like building blocks, but like the housing and the stuff like that. The overall characters were really fun and then goofy. It's a very silly game, but there's a lot of serious overtones too with the story. They remastered this. There were some issues with the remaster, but I do recommend it if you ever get a chance. I never played any of the sequels. Well, that's not completely true. I played a little bit of 2, but I didn't really play too far into it. And Extreme, for whatever reason, I played like a couple hours on PlayStation 2, but I never really went too far into it. But yeah, no, Grandia 1, really, really fun game. Unique weapon leveling system as well, where you gain levels with the weapon you're using, and they give you stat points, so you can build your character differently. Same with the magic, because instead of like inherently knowing magic or getting magic per level ups, you get mana crystals or mana eggs that you can use to learn magic, which was pretty cool. It led to a lot of customization, and if you ever replayed it, a lot of holding on to mana eggs, but it really good game overall. I highly recommend it. Not many people talk about Grandia, and it's definitely one of those games I feel like more people should play. And again, the voice acting was actually really good for its time. Grand Stream Saga. So, the only thing about this game I truly remember is there's a shower scene with one of the female characters. I don't know why. I saw this on the list early and I was like, holy shit, that's the game with the shower scene. It has similar combat to Azure Dreams, if I remember, but it's nowhere near as good, and I ended up dropping it, I think, halfway through the game. The dungeons were kind of interesting. It wasn't like randomly generated. There's like a floating island, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it wasn't really memorable. It wasn't bad. Honestly, I would probably say, And I'm sorry if you like Grand Stream Saga, but I actually thought it was a Saga game. I just remember that. I thought it was a Saga game, too, when I first got it. I thought it was like Final Fantasy Legends part of that Saga stuff. Because, yeah, I don't think Saga Frontier was out at that point, though. Oh, maybe my brain's playing tricks on me. Grand Stream Saga. When did this come out? Oh my god, this gets a 7.3 out of 10? Really? Well, you do you. Well, 97. That's not too bad. A lot of games came out in 97. Yeah, even Saga Frontier. Maybe that's why I thought it was part of the Final Fantasy Legends stuff. But it wasn't, anyways. It's very just basic. I guess C tier is good enough for you. I didn't hate it. Weren't great. Guardian Crusade. I don't know if I ever played that. It's a monster raising game, right? You know what? I don't think I played it, so I'm not gonna put it in a tiers list. What is this game? Hoshi Gam? That's interesting. Hoshigam. Hoshigam. Yeah, Google that. I didn't play it, obviously. PlayStation. Nothing. Oh, I misspelled it. Oh, Hoshigami. Oh, this looks like a strategy. Oh, this is actually a strategy RPG. This game looks pretty good. Actually. Has a lower rating than Grand Stream Saga, but whatever. Hoshigami Ruining Blue Earth is a tactical playing game developed by Max 5 and published by Atlas. In 2001? Oh, it came out in 2002 in Japan. What the fuck? Huh. It looks actually pretty good. It's a strategy game, but I've never played it. So I would have to look it up. Oh, it says Atlas right there on the screen, huh? Huh. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Jade Cocoon, you can barely read the name here, but I zoomed in earlier to see it. So Jade Cocoon is a monster taming-ish game, where you use silk to capture these monsters. The story is very depressing, and combat is pretty alright. It's basic. It's kind of like your standard turn-based. There's some strategy to it here and there. The voice acting on it is also fairly good. I went back and I played the intro to it not that long ago, and there was like Persona actors in it from like Persona like 4 and 5 that I was just like, oh my god, you guys have been around for a while. But overall, I think it's a really good game. I can put it in the B tier, I think. The story is pretty sad. Just overall, just kind of just depressing. Oh, Kingsfield. I don't think I played. Man, there's a few games that I haven't actually played yet. Well, I played some of this stuff. So Cartia is a strategy RPG. Really neat system with the magic in terms of cards used to cast magic. I do remember the story being pretty depressing. I don't remember I beat it, but I do remember the game itself being pretty sad as well. A lot of strategy games, you know, we're going to be talking about in the near future, heavily dark and depressing, it seems like. But overall, it can be kind of fun. I will say I don't really remember too far into this. I don't know if I beat it. I played a lot of it, but I can't really think too far into the game for whatever reason. I'll put it in C tier because I do remember enjoying it. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was a pretty good game. This one down here, I could never remember the name of. I rented it once. We talked about this on stream too. I actually got the name off you guys in chat for this game that I really need to find and purchase at some point. Play, because I remember one of the characters had this weapon that was like a crutch with a blade on it. It wasn't a crutch, but it was like attached to the wrist. It was like kind of a dark setting. Oh, is it? It's part of the. Is it Shadowheart? No. Remember someone said it was like part of a long-running series, but I rented it and I could never find it again afterwards, so I'm not gonna put it on the tier list. Same with Kingsfield either. I don't think I've ever played any of those, but I definitely want to get this game at some point and play it because it has been haunting my dreams for a long time. Xenogears? It's down here. We'll be getting to that at some point. Alright, so Legend of Legaia. This game has a pretty unique combat system. Graphically, the character art's good for its time, but kind of ugly as we aged. But, you know, I never beat it. There's a lot of games I've never beat on this tier list, huh? I never beat it, but I wanted to go back and play it. But I accidentally sold my original copy of Legend of Legaia, and I just got it a few years ago, but plot twist, the PlayStation 3 cannot actually finish playing Legend of Legaia on its backwards compatibility. It will let you get up to the very end of Legend of Legaia, and then it will actually stall, like it just won't load, which is complete bullshit. So I gotta use an emulator, even though I have a physical copy. Just haven't gotten around to playing it again. You know, I'll put it in C because it's really... I'll put it in B, actually. The combat system is very unique. The story's pretty good. It has some tropey stuff in it, but overall, it's generally pretty good. Do need to finish the final boss, but yeah. I don't really, I can't believe that game is one of the few games on PlayStation 3's backwards compatibility that just doesn't work after a certain point in the game. To be fair, that I guess the list is not that long, so that's something, but kind of a kick in the dick. But yeah, Legend of Mana. I'm gonna put that in A right now. A or S, actually. I mean, Pearl's S-class for sure, but... No, it's actually S. It's actually S. There's three main stories. How can you have three main stories, Chronos? There's three stories that converge to the final point in the game in here. It has some monster taming, it has blacksmithing, it has a very unique world map where you place the world. Well, like, you place the towns, the dungeons, and all that stuff. So your world map will be very different. There is, like, one optimal pattern for it, though. So if you want, like, the best elemental gauges or, treasures and stuff like that, I think it was, you need to place them in certain orders. But overall, it's a It's pretty fun. There's some heartbreaking stories in that game as well. They did just remaster that like a couple years ago, I think, at this point. Has it been a couple years? Has it been a couple years since they really? It hasn't been a couple years. Has it been like a year? If I can actually spell its name. Oh, they made an anime of it too, apparently. That's 2 years. Shit. Jesus. Really? God damn. Is this the game you played, the remake not that long ago? It was apparently 2 years ago. I did an hour long of it, or a let's try. 2 years? Really? That's not cool, world. Let's look at Legend of Mana. I did it on June 25th, 2021. I wasn't even doing an hour of then, was I? That came afterwards. Jesus. Wow. All right, well, that's horrifying. Yeah. It's overall really great game. You can choose, male, female characters. You get different monster pets that you can raise. You transfer Final Fantasy VIII stuff over, you get a unique boss and a chocobo pet, which is pretty dope. Also, the chocobo pet is completely broken. And the item you get for fighting the secret boss is also pretty broken. Not as broken as the chocobo, but it's pretty broken. But overall, pretty great game. I don't know if you can get that stuff on the remaster version, though. Yeah, because you had to have the data on your memory card, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if you never played Legend of Mana, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend pretty much all of these games, except for fucking Eternalize and a little bit of Arc the Third. But fuck Eternalize, all right? Let's fuck it. Well, yeah, definitely play Legend of Mana at some point. Next, we have Lunar, the Silver Star Story, and Lunar, Eternal Blue. We'll do Silver Star Story first. This game has been remade and remastered I don't know how many times. It was originally released on Sega CD, then it was remade for PlayStation 1, then it was remade for Game Boy Advance, then it was ported onto mobile, then there was a PlayStation Portable PSP version, and I don't know how that game in particular has been ported so many times, but Eternal Blue hasn't. Eternal Blue was a Sega Saturn game, and it was just ported over. It wasn't even remade, it was just remastered, kind of, for PlayStation. So, yeah, I have no idea why, I mean, don't get me wrong, Silver Star Story is a really great game. It's wholesome at points, it's heartbreaking at points, it has pretty decent voice acting. Some of it's cringe, some of it's definitely cringe. But, it's overall pretty decent. I think I'll put them both in A tier. Yeah, put them in S tier, Chronos? I want to, kind of. Lunar Eternal Blue actually has something unique for its time, which was a post-game. You finish the main story, and you can keep playing for an epilogue. That was not something that happened very often back in the day. But yeah, the voice acting was drastically improved, I feel like, for Eternal Blue, but, nothing against Silver Star Story. They had decent voice acting, but it's definitely hit or miss in some points. Music overall is pretty great. They do take place in the same world, but the map is pretty different compared to each other. There's some familiar locations, but nothing too similar. It's not going to feel like you're playing the same game. Man, do I put them in S tier? We're going to have a lot of S tiers. There's a lot of PlayStation games that I just really like. I tried finding a PlayStation 2 RPG one as well, but I didn't see one. So if you're not lazy like me, maybe make one for me. I don't know. I'm just saying. It would be just for me, but still. Do I put Lunar? You know what's the worst Nintendo DS game? The sequel to the Lunar games here. It was Lunar Dragon Song. Worst fucking game to ever be made. You literally lose HP running. I bought this game. Do you hate it worse than Eternal Eyes, Chronos? Yes, actually. I would fucking throw that fucking thing. If I won tomorrow's $1 billion lottery, I would find every copy of Dragon Song and burn it. Wouldn't help the world? I would be helping the world by buying all of Dragon Song and burning it, alright? Let's be honest with each other. Ugh, my god, that game was fucking awful. It didn't even look good either. It looked like they took parts of like Diablo 1 and tried to put it on DS and then made it shit. And Diablo looked good for its time, so I don't know why I use that as an example, but I guess it's just the isometric view. But we're stalling now. I'm gonna put these in S. Mega Man Legend 2 and 1. Here's the thing. I never played Mega Man Legend 2, and I never beat Mega Man Legend 1. I did play a decent amount of Mega Man Legend 1, but I never beat it. I actually brought it up as something that I was interested in going back and playing on stream at some point. So I'll put that in C tier because from what I remember, it was pretty interesting. It's a dungeon crawler. You get to modify your M Buster or whatever the hell it's called. And, you know, you get the Tron people going on. You get that... What the hell's her name? Everyone likes her. I don't know why. Little bots as well. But I want to go back and play it, so I'll put it in the C tier. It's something I just want to get back to. Maybe one day when we revisit this and my memory is completely shot, we can redo it. But I won't put a Mega Man 2 on the tier list because I never played it. And Monster Seed? Is that Monster C or Monster Seed? I think that's Monster Seed. I never heard of that game before, so I'm going to Google it real fast. Monster Seed video game. Ah, ooh. What the fuck is this? I have no idea. Oh wow, that Japanese cover is way different than the American cover. That happened a lot, actually. Add a never tier. I mean, could I? Oh, add row below? New. How do I rename that? Yeah, let's see. There we go. Well, I just do this now. There, alright. Get these things out of... I mean, some of these are just disingenuous, but we'll just go with that for now. Because I did play Front Mission 3, I just can't remember any of it. But Monster Seed looks kind of interesting. It looks like a lesser Monster Rancher. It might be a lesser Monster Rancher, though it might have been out first before Monster Rancher. Developed by NK Systems and published by Sunsoft. I don't know any of those. Sunsoft sounds familiar, actually. So no, Monster Seed came out a year after Monster Rancher. Is Monster Rancher on this list? Oh, no, you don't have Monster Rancher on this list? Play Monster Rancher 2. Well, I mean, I guess that would be kind of hard to do. They remade the Monster Rancher games. But just the feel of putting in a CD and getting a monster from it. If you don't know what a CD is, it used to contain music before everything became digital or vinyl again somehow. I don't know how vinyls came back. I was in the store the other day and I was just walking by and there's just a bunch of record players and vinyls out. And I was like, did I get like fucking in a time warp or something? Like, what's going on? You have 100% at least played some Sunsoft games. Probably. Let's see. Why does it sound like Final Fantasy VII music? Huh. Ooh, Batman the video game. I probably played that at some point. Yo, Blaster Master, really? Huh. Like, did they make it or it says developed released? Huh. Let's see. Anything else? Spy Kids by 100. I never played that. Freedom Force. That sounds familiar. I don't know if I ever played that. Anything recent that I might know? They're in business for a long time. Oh, Clock Tower. I never played that, but I heard of it. Yeah, there's a lot of old games on there. No! They made fucking Eternalize? The motherfuckers, I'm glad they're out of business. I don't know if they're actually out of business. How fucking dare they? How fucking dare they? Oh, that's fucking poetic, actually, that just happened. But that is hilarious. Oh. Oh, that's good. That's great stuff. Brave Fencer Musashi. I didn't like this game, actually. I dropped it after a while, but I for whatever reason, you stay at the bottom, bitch. I didn't really like it. I didn't like the design of the main character. The story he was kind of an asshole too, if I remember correctly. I feel like this is a cult hit, Brave Fencer Musashi. Why is this on here, but Monster Rancher isn't? Oh, it's whatever. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something about the game, I think it's the attitude of the main character or the overall story, or maybe even just the gameplay elements of it. I remember my health being super low, like it was drained to the point where like the max HP. And I was just saying, like, fuck it at some point and never playing it again. I don't know the exact reason why I didn't like it, but I do remember not liking it. So I think there was a jump mechanic, I think that was pretty fun in that. Ogre Battle. I played a bit of the Super Nintendo one. of Ogre Battle. Wasn't there 2 Ogre Battles? Oh, Tactic Ogres. Wait, are they not the same thing? I'm just gonna put him in never played. That might be a little disingenuous because I might have, but I don't remember them. I never played Parasite Eve 2, but Parasite Eve 1 was actually a fairly good game. The story, the controls were pretty shit, but the overall story was pretty good. I'll put it in B for now. We're gonna rearrange some of this stuff at the end. Okay, Persona 2, never played it. Persona 1, okay, we know that's not true. Alright, so we never got the first Persona 2 in America. I bought this, I have the physical copy of this over here. But I ended up playing on the channel the PSP version not that long ago. I think story-wise it's really good, but gameplay-wise it kind of suffers for that. I don't know if it's exactly the same as the PlayStation 1 version, but I still overall very much enjoyed Innocent Sin, Eternal Punishment. Yeah, we never got Innocent Sin for PlayStation 1. I like that box art. It made me buy it. I don't know why. I saw this art and I was like, I'm gonna buy it, even though I had never played a Persona game. Speaking of Persona game, there's Persona 1, Revelations. I'll put it in B as well. They're one is very bare bones. I think gameplay-wise, at least on the PSP versions that I played, it was better than Eternal Punishment. But I feel like Eternal Punishment's story and its connection to Innocent Sin made up for that. And overall, the stories for both the 2s, 2-1 and 2-2, were overall better than Persona 1. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm working out. But, yeah. I feel like they both belong in B, but for slightly different reasons, I feel like. Like, gameplay for 2, not that, or Eternal Punishment, not as good as the other ones, but story-wise, it made up for it. Opposed to Persona 1, very basic gameplay, but overall fun to play, and honestly pretty easy, but story was pretty good as well. Not as good as the other ones, but pretty decent. Oh, Rhapsody. I never beat this one, but it was overly adorable, and I do want to get back to it at some point and play it. Apparently there's like 3 of them, because they're on Steam now. Or 4 of them, even. I love this cover for whatever reason. Probably because it's just an angelic woman. But, it was a fun game. There's a lot of strategy RPGs on this. Huh. Wow, there's a lot of strategy RPGs in general, huh? Yeah. But yeah, overall, is definitely not a serious type game from what I remember. I think the story does get a little bit serious towards the middle. Never beat it, but it gets a little bit more serious as you go, but it overall starts off kind of silly. It's similar to, oh, what are they called? The Disgaea games? I think that's how you pronounce it. In terms of like look and appeal and overall, from what I played of them, which was only one in a bit of Makai Kingdom and the Brave Island one, whatever the hell that's called. Never beat them. Well, okay, Disgaea 1, I get up to the end boss, and I had made it so only one of my characters was really strong, because that just happens with strategy games with me. I just pretty much end up farming one character, and I try not to do it, but it still does it. And I couldn't beat the final boss. Yeah, that series, yeah. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty decent game. I wouldn't mind going back and playing it, though. Yeah, I didn't know they had so many sequels until the other day I saw it. Now, Saga Frontier and Saga Frontier 2. I think they both belong in A. Yeah. So Saga Frontier 1, it's part of the Saga franchise, if you didn't know, you couldn't tell by the name. You get to choose pretty much a main character at the start, and they all have their own little separate story in the same world. There's a bunch of side quests for magic and stuff that you can do, and you can recruit other characters, even some other main characters. Not all of them, though. Like, Blue you can't recruit in any of them. Blue is the guy on the cover here. And Red, you can't recruit at all, I think, as well. Yeah, Red and Blue you can't actually recruit outside of their own stories. Celis you can recruit twice. One permanently on Amelia's story and one temporary on Red's story. But everyone else can be recruited. Yes. And the remaster came out a few years ago at this point, and we streamed it for a little while, and I should totally fucking finish the remaster so I can do the new chapter they added, Fuse, but I didn't. I only did a Celis and Blue stuff. I gotta go back and finish that. Where would you put Innocent Sin if it was there? I honestly would probably put it with the other ones in the B tier. Yeah. Well, maybe A. So I feel like gameplay-wise, it was better than Eternal Punishment. And the story was still good. And fucking absurd. But also really just good at some points. The twist on the main bad guy, though, was kind of weird. But, yeah. So since this gameplay is good and the story's good, I'd probably put it in A. Because it doesn't suffer like, gameplay being bad, but the story's really good, like Eternal Punishment. Yeah. I guess probably A. Though I never even seen the PlayStation version of Innocent Sin, so I don't even know how similar it is. But anyway, Saga Frontier 2, same kind of premise, but you only have two main characters that you can choose from. Though they're not the only main characters. It's very unique because you start off at a timeline and you play with these two characters, and eventually they branch off into two separate ones. They're children or just others. It goes off that way. It branches off like a branching path. A lot of people love Saga Frontier 2. I do too. I love the war system in it, but it also is extremely hard. Like, Saga Frontier can be hard because of how they handle battle systems and random encounters, but Saga Frontier 2 is just kind of extremely unforgiving. It took a lot to beat this game back when I was young, and I don't know how I did it. Maybe I'm embellishing a little bit, but also I love Gustav's sword. So it's like one of my favorite sword styles. It doesn't look like that in game at all. It actually looks like a black triangle. It looks stupid, but it's really cool in that image. Either Gustav or Gustav, one or the other. But yeah, I put them in A tier because I really love Saga Frontier games, but they're definitely like, they're not a type of game that I can just throw on for the most part and just play. It's like I need to plan out what I'm gonna do or else I'm gonna get screwed. Alright, next on the list is I don't know what that is. I will Google that. Sayuki? I'm pretty sure I never played it. Journey West. Oh, there's an anime for it too. It looks like another strategy game. Why does this look like this is supposed to be Sun Wukong? I've never heard of it. So we'll put that in the never played category. Shadow Tower? I don't think I played that as well. Oh, it's from FromSoft. Oh my god. They have been around for a while. The dungeon crawl is similar to Kingsfield. I never played that one. Apparently a lot of people like it. Oh man, I have never seen this game before. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Where's Suikoden 1? Are you kidding me? You don't have Suikoden 1? It's supposed to be Sun Wukong, but it's based off the Journey to the West. Why is it called Sayuki then? Is that like another name I've never heard of before? But anyways, I'm getting mad at this tier list because there's no Suikoden 1. You have Thousand Arms. But no Suikoden 1? Shame. But anyways, Star Ocean 2, Electric Boogaloo. I love this game. And I'll put it in the S tier. Down here. Right now. Yeah, you get two main characters to choose from, which actually does make the stories different. You have multiple endings based off who you make friends with or romance with. The overall story is pretty compelling. It's very tropey at times, but also pretty compelling in certain points. And like it just has replayability with it because you can different crafting, different, private events that you can do, different endings you can do in terms of like the endings themselves. It's not like it's like super different for like the end game. Like you fight the same final boss, you get the same ending there, but then you get like little character slides for like the friendship stuff. So not slides, but like scenes, not like Suikoden. It's being remade, and it'll be out, I think, in what, a month now? I just did an hour of not that long ago on it, and I'm super hyped for it. We're probably playing it on stream, so be ready. We're probably going to be playing, like, Super Mario RPG on stream too at some point. When does this come out, actually? Because I'm not going to lie, man, I got a $1,184 bill for my car today. And that's only for one of the issues. I still need to get my exhaust fixed and other things to pass my inspection. So, you might have been wondering where Liza P are right now. Liza P are begging for that lottery ticket to be winning tomorrow. Because good fucking lord, I am gonna be broke by the end of this month. Star Ocean 2 remake release November 2nd. So, woo. Mario RPG comes out the same day as Persona 5. Text, don't I have game? I do not have Game Pass, actually. Is it gonna be on Game Pass? Maybe I'll get it for that. Oh, is Liza P on Game Pass? Maybe we could do that then. We'll see. Because I gotta be fucking honest, guys. I'm probably gonna be spending $5,000 or more this month. I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm already like gonna be like one of the issues is $1,184. The exhaust ain't gonna be cheap, and I know I need brakes, and I know there's other shit wrong with my car. So I'm not buying any games for a while, I feel like. But if it's on Game Pass, maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Because holy shit. If I could get rid of the car, I would. We're going off on a little tangent right now. We're in just chatting anyways. But if I could get rid of my car, I would in a fucking heartbeat, right? But unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm the caregiver for my mother, so I need to drive her places. To her doctors, to her family, to many different places. So, I can't. I can't just say fuck it, trash it. I wish I could. Because I do not want to spend that money on that car. Sayuki is the original name to the Chinese story of Journey to the West. Really? They definitely get pushed out, I feel like, because I've never heard of Sayuki being the name for that. Interesting. But yeah, Star Ocean 2, Electric Boogaloo. Also, for whatever reason, my brain kept merging like Lunar Silver Star Story with Star Ocean. Because every time I would be like, oh, it's called Star Ocean Second Story. I always said Star Ocean Second Star Story. Like, I had to correct myself before I did my hour of. I don't even know if I did correct myself, but I just know afterwards I was like, gotta make sure I didn't say Second Star Story. Because it just would always come out as Second Star Story. But yes, Suikoden 2. Guess what? We're going back up the S, baby. Because Suikoden 2 is a fantastic game. Suikoden 1 would probably be an A tier, actually. I love Suikoden 1, but it does have some hiccups. And it's not as good as Suikoden 2, but I feel like Suikoden 1 is actually an extremely great building, like foundation to be built upon, and Suikoden 2 did that. You could play Persona Q since you already own it. That is actually probably true. You're not wrong. That is true. I was actually thinking of Code Vein, I think it's called. It's like an anime Dark Souls, because I also have that. I've had that for like 3 years, I feel like, at this point. Been a while. But yeah, what was I saying? I would probably put Suikoden 1 in A and Suikoden 2 is an S. Because Suikoden 1 is a great foundation to build upon, and Suikoden 2 is just an extremely great game. Highly recommend. Alright, so now we have Tales of Destiny and Tales of Destiny 2 / Tales of Eternia in Japan. Is Code Vein how you say that? I feel like my brain shut off for a second when I saw the spelling there. Code Vein. Man, my brain just actually shut off when I looked over there. As for the Suikoden, Code Vein, yeah. Okay. My brain is shut off. I'm so dumb right now. I don't know what just happened. I might have just had a stroke on stream. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I didn't play the DS Suikoden game. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I don't know why I looked over there and saw the name, and I was like, that's not right. And I'm like, no, that's right. No, that's not right. No, that's right. Oh my god. Well, we got that on camera, so that's good. But yeah, I played a little bit of the Suikoden DS game, but I don't want to say I didn't like it. It was just, not good. No, that's too far. It was, I think, just too different, and it wasn't good. I didn't like it, actually. Okay, I'll just say I didn't really like it, so I stopped playing it. It would be in the D tier if we were doing a tier list for that. They had a cool concept though, with like the multiple different like timeline characters. I don't want to spoil too much, but they had a couple of neat concepts that I think fell short, if I'm remembering the game correctly. But anyways, Tales of Destiny, right? Tales of Destiny 1. I'm going to put that in A. I really, really enjoy Tales of Destiny. The combat system, unfortunately, is not as good as, say, Tales of Destiny 2 or Tales games that came afterwards. It's kind of slow, but overall, it is... I feel like the story is really good, and the fact that you can recruit multiple characters and have different party builds goes a long way. Shame it didn't have English voice acting, but, they fixed that with later ones. Tales of Destiny 2, which isn't actually Tales of Destiny 2. Tales of Destiny 2 is actually the sequel to Tales of Destiny, but this is not actually the sequel to Tales of Destiny. This is actually Tales of Eternia, and it does have English voice acting. Most of them are not really good, I feel like. Her name's Farah, if I remember correctly. Her first line is hers just going, "Read!" And it just haunts me to this day for some reason. Reed's kind of an asshole too, and I don't really like him. I mean, Farah's not that great either, if I remember correctly. But overall, the combat system's pretty good. The story is actually, I wouldn't say as good as Tales of Destiny, but pretty decent, especially for its time. There's they pull, I don't want to spoil too much, but you do get a change of scenery partway through the game, which is nice. I mean, they do that with Tales of Destiny as well, but a little different. Actually, Tales of Destiny's world map is pretty dope in terms of like the overall size of it and some visual changes as the stories go. Oh, okay, so now we have Legend of Dragoon, which I just bought on PlayStation. It's not remastered or anything like that, but they did upscale it, I think, so it might look better. Do I want to put you in an S, or do I want to put you in A? A to the S. I'm going to put it in S, because overall the story's really cool. The characters are really good. It does have voice acting, right? In some parts? Yeah, no, it totally has bad voice acting. Yeah, I just remember the starting scene. Yeah, the voice acting is not great, but the overall story is really good. The combat's really unique. They honestly don't have too many combats like it in terms of like selecting your attack and timing the prompts right. It's kind of QTE a little bit, but it's it's kind of like timed hits, I guess is a good way to talk about it, right? The transformations are really cool. Oh, they take a lot though, because you got to get the points from doing your timed hits right. It's overall a good game though. I wouldn't mind playing it again at some point. It's been a while. I did buy it recently, but again recently. I don't know why. I have it. I have the discs, but overall I guess it's just easier to have it on PlayStation 4. But yeah, I definitely recommend, like I said, every single one of these games pretty much. Except for these. Especially this motherfucker. Thousand Arms. Do you recommend Thousand Arms, Chronos? Well. So this is another dating-esque sim. This one's more blatant because you actually have dates. And it affects the weapons you can craft because this fucking goober of a main character here is a blacksmith. And in order to get more powered up crafting blacksmith-like items, you have to get the girls to fall in love with you, kind of, and you bring them on dates for this. I never finished it. I loved the girl with the hammer. I forget her name. I forget all their names. The battle system was pretty good. It's kind of unique in terms of what it looked like. It honestly, they took like anime characters. Well, I mean, it says it, but it was like a side view, and you had button prompts. The dark swords that you could get, they had this cool little pinkish, dark little glowing effect on it. I really like that because I was an edgy teen. I never finished it. It is kind of cringe, kind of like me, but S tier? No, we'll put it in C. I kind of do want to go back and play it. There is voice acting. It's absolutely atrocious. But yeah, you do date the girls to try to get them to like you to make better weapons. That is a concept for sure. Only occasionally you're cringe. I don't know. I'll work on that to be totally cringe all the time then. Yeah, C's a good play. I don't hate it. I might hate it if I played it again today. Just, I don't know. The concept is kind of absurd when you say it out loud, right? You're like a love blacksmith or something. Yeah, I don't know. Little dude fell over. Yeah. Oh, not on today, especially not on today's bullet. God, my God, I was rewatching that and like, I was so taken aback by how everyone was just all of a sudden a romanceable candidate. I was just taken aback. It continues a little bit tomorrow episode as well. Threads of Fate. The only time I've ever mentioned this game was my one and only post on Threads. I think the post was, you could call this and then there was a picture of Threads of Fate. So I'm gonna put that on Never Played. Yeah. What is, oh my God. I didn't know this was released in America. I've also never played it. This is a Dragon Quest 4 spin-off. Torneko, you play as a merchant. I'm actually legitimately surprised that was on this list, and Suikoden 1 wasn't. Or Monster Rancher. For shame. Vagrant Story. Vagrant Story is a game that's actually takes place in the Final Fantasy Tactics Final Fantasy 12 world, right, Evilise? Things are tough with the max. Apparently, I didn't even max my charisma stat in the game, and Maeve was just pulling them all in. Lizelle was just pretty blatant about it, though. It was just kind of hilarious. But anyways, yeah, Vagrant Story. It's kind of a... I don't know, man, I don't know the type of, combat. It's kind of strategy. If I'm remembering correctly, but it's I guess maybe it's kind of like Azure Dreams a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the story. I remember really enjoying it. I only played it once, though. I cannot, for the life of me, actually remember the goddamn story of it. Huh. That's kind of weird. That's worrying. But I can't think of, like... Did I not beat it? Oh, I didn't beat it, actually. Yes, I just checked my own game collection spreadsheet that I use for Patreon. I didn't beat it. My God. I remember enjoying what I played of it, though. I'm gonna put this down here. Because I think it might be another Golden Sun where I might have played it, but I just don't remember anything. I remember this being a good game, though. Then I think I said the same thing about Golden Sun, but I can't remember anything about it as well. Aging sucks. But I remember really enjoying it, so maybe, like, I don't know. It's fine. Valkyrie Profile, though. I actually just beat this again, like, a month ago. So, yeah, I bought the PlayStation 4 version. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Combat in that game, I feel like is an S tier. However, my God, the story for Valkyrie Profile, really kind of hard to follow. And you can easily lock yourself out of the true ending of it by simply just playing the game like a normal person and not looking up a guide. I had to look up a guide because I could not figure out how to actually get the true ending of it. But overall, I think it's a good game. Like, I think it's a great game, actually. The voice acting in this game is... it's mid. The voice acting's mid. But some of it's really, really good. The PlayStation, like, not remaster, but port of the PSP version... had like these new cutscenes, I guess were from the PSP version, that kind of surprised me. But it's one of those games that's really hard if you don't plan out your party right or use the special equipment. And if you're looking for like a story, it's hard to actually follow, because even doing like the true ending stuff, I finished the game and I was like, all right, that's right. There's really nothing here. It's just little flashes and then it ends. Like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. I don't remember the B ending. And you have to watch the opening video too to actually get a whole idea of what the story is kind of about. But again, overall, great game. I just played it like a month ago again, because it's been years since I played it. Oh, now Vandal Hearts. These are depressing games. My God. They're so fucking depressing. They have good endings, but even the good endings are just kind of sad. Like, Vandal Hearts has one of the most brutal opening scenes in terms of like a town being ransacked and destroyed. Vandal Hearts 1's not as brutal, but it is pretty depressing. I'll put Vandal Hearts 1 in B. Gameplay wise, they're very much similar. Strategy RPG. I think Vandal Hearts 2 has the better story overall. And the better characters. So I'll put that in A, maybe? Yeah, that seems about right. Going to sleep now? Thank you for stopping by, Soph. Hopefully we'll see me tomorrow for stream. We'll see. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm planning on it, at the very least. I was doing something anyways. And then, yeah, so Vandal Hearts 2, I think, is better than Vandal Hearts 1. Both kind of equally depressing on different levels. Gameplay-wise, they're very similar strategy RPGs with the unit upgrades and stuff like that. But B and A, maybe C and A? No, you know what? B and A is pretty good for these guys, I feel like. Oh, Vanguard Bandits. My God. 3-4 different paths, kind of. Different endings. Another strategy RPG involving mechs this time. How come it's not S? It's... So, it's good, right? But once you play it once, you kind of know what you're doing, and it doesn't really change. Like, once you know how to build your characters, every character kind of turns out the same way. And the story is okay. Why is it an A then? That's a good point. Maybe B. If nothing else, you could play Vampire Survivors. I still have that installed, so yeah, maybe. So yeah, Vanguard Bandits is a good game. It is easy to get locked out of the normal ending, like get the bad ending if you don't like. So they have affinity systems with the characters in the game, and if you end up having like a pretty bad affinity with the characters, which I did the first time I played it, you get locked in the bad ending, which is kind of annoying. But there are multiple paths in the game with different recruits, and it's really fun, and it does have mechs. The story's not really, well, if I'm thinking this much about it, it's staying in B. I think overall it's a great game, but I think I just really might like it because I played so much of it to get the different paths. Wouldn't that mean it's A then, Chronos? I guess, because I only played like Vandal Hearts once, or Vandal Hearts 2 once. I've played almost everything else multiple times though. So, okay, we'll put it in A. Yeah. I definitely recommend it. It's made from the same people, or at least translated by the Working Design people. And they always had good strategy guides. Oh, so now we're at Wild Arms 1 and 2. Wild Arms 1 is one of those games that visually has not aged that well. Story-wise, it's fine, it's good, it's kind of generic. Well, okay, there's a really good twist in it. But other than that, it's kind of generic a little bit. But overall, a good experience, a good game. Wild Arms 2, I fucking love. And I keep saying that I'm gonna go back and play it. And I've been saying that for years, I think, at this point. And I really want to, but I just can't find the time to play it. It's, I don't know, I really enjoyed all the characters in Wild Arms 2. The story was just, I think, vastly improved from Wild Arms 1. But I will say, intros for these games, Wild Arms 1 and 2, vastly superior to every other game with the intro, except maybe Chrono Cross. Like the intro songs and the animations for the Wild Arm games are stupidly good. Like, it's just so goddamn good. The music is amazing. But I think it's fair to put Wild Arms 1 down here because it is kind of basic. And visually it hasn't aged that well, but overall still really good game. And Wild Arms 2, I love. I want to play it again, and I just haven't found the time to do it. I gotta make time. Where are you gonna put Xenogears, Chronos? I have never played Xenogears. That is a lie. That is a lie. We're gonna put it in S. Xenogears is it the game that games are too long? Oh yeah, absolutely. Just playing all of this S tier up here. Like, I can beat these, like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 7 and 8 I can beat probably 25 hours. 9 would be a lot longer. If I rushed, I should say. 9 would be a lot longer. Tactics would be a lot longer. 40 hours probably each. Azure Dreams, it really depends on the RNG. The fastest I've ever beat Suikoden 2 was 24 hours. Well, no, I think I did it in like, what, 18 hours for the charity stream? It might have been 24 hours. I can't remember. But anyways, Xenogears. It's the start of the Xeno series that isn't actually legally connected to it anymore because they don't own the license to Xenogears. Or Xenosaga for that matter. But that might be linked to Xenoblade Chronicles now? I don't know. But Xenogears is an ambitious game, a huge game, kind of an unfinished game, but still overall an amazing game. The voice acting that's there is good. It's not great, but it's good. The music is fantastic. The mech battles are pretty fun. The battle system's actually pretty great. It's kind of unique too for its time. The world map and exploration's really just great. The modes of transportation, it's just a great game. The second half of it's kind of unfinished a little bit, but still pretty good. Overall, anyways, I'm interested to see if they ever actually remake this game or remaster it and do something about that, but we'll see. My tea is cold. Xenogears, the game that was almost Final Fantasy VII, but launched something bigger. Was it almost? I know they reference Xenogears in Final Fantasy VII. Cloud, when he has the Mako poisoning, he mutters the name. Which would be kind of interesting if they actually kept that in that scene, if they ever actually remake that scene. Alright, let's see. So, never played will stay as is, right? D tier, Eternalized can stay at the bottom of the list. Brave Fence Musashi and Arctolads 3, they're probably equal in terms of how I'd view those. I'll put Alundra back here. I'll put this up here. Yeah. That looks pretty good for C, right? If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just rearranging everything to be kind of like what I like the most to what I like the least for that tier. Tier B, that's where it's gonna get harder. It's kind of cheating having Persona 2 up here, but... and Persona 1. I think I enjoyed the gameplay of Persona 1 a little bit more, which made me enjoy... I'm gonna go back and play Persona 1 at one point to get the Snow Queen route. I don't think I could replay Eternal Punishment as is. I wouldn't mind going back and playing Parasite Eve too at some point. I mean, the intro alone for Wild Arms makes me want to put it up higher, but... there's 3 Parasite Eves? I didn't know that. I knew there was a 2. And we'll leave that as is. So Jade Cocoon is one of my favorite games on PlayStation, but is it up there above Arc the Lad? Yeah, I think it is. Now for A tier. Let's see. Oh, this one's harder. This one's definitely harder. Hmm. I would probably put Vanguard Bandits above Vandal Hearts just as, out of enjoy. Oh, it's PSP. The Parasite Eve, the third birthday. Interesting. I would. I think I would definitely put Vanguard Bandits over Vandal Hearts 2. It's just a more enjoyable game. I don't really like depressing games all that often. So, as good as it was, I don't like being sad. um, so doing Vanguard Bandits gets a couple extra points for that. And all these games do have sad points in them, but at the same time, what degree of them? Hmm. Xenogears was originally submitted as a script idea for 7. Rejected because it's too dark and complicated. It does get dark in that game. Up, going to bed. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night. See you tomorrow, maybe. I'm streaming. I probably will be streaming. Yeah, Xenogears can get a little bit dark, but not as dark as some of these other games. There's some dark points, but yeah, doesn't exactly end on a dark note too, like some of these other games. But let's see. Is that good for A? This is hard because, like, all of them are really, really good. And I love all of them. I feel like a parent trying to pick children. It's just gonna get worse when we get up in the S tier. So which of these childs do I think is better than the other one? I don't know. If I had a gun to my head and I was forced to pick one, what would it be? Tales of Destiny. Not that one. You. Why Tales of Destiny, Chronos? It actually was the first game that came to my head when I was like, pick one. The gun to your head. So I guess you'll be at the top of the list. Alright, second game then, Chronos, with the gun to your head. I actually think that's an alright position now. Yeah. 7 is very slow paced, but a really great game. Saga Frontier is a really great game in my opinion as well. Same with Grandia, same with Saga Frontier 2 and Valkyrie Profiles. Vanguard Bandits and Vandal Hearts are also really good games, but I feel like they are not as good as the other ones on the list. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, A tier's fine. So S tier then. This one, I feel like is gonna be hard. Yeah, this one is hard. um... Oh, man. Like, I just moved these over, and now I'm like, oh, I gotta put Arc the Lad up a little bit. And then I was like, oh, there's Chronos too, and then there's Final Fantasy, like, all this stuff. Oh, but Legend of Mana is really good. Honestly, you could put S tier in a random list generator and told me that this was the order, and I'd probably be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't think I can rearrange it because all of them are just so good. Well, which one would you bring to a deserted island, Chronos, if you could only bring one game? I guess either Suikoden 2 or Azure Dreams, or they're up at top anyways. Why? Well, Suikoden 2 never gets old for me except for the war battle, and Azure Dreams is kind of a different playthrough every time depending on your luck. And I mean, Final Fantasy 7 is also really good, and kind of like Suikoden 2, I could play it at any time. Same with the other games, to be quite honest. Bring Minecraft. I mean, that would probably, honestly, if it was every game, I would definitely probably play something like that. Like either Minecraft or some sort of like farming sim or something like that. Something that would keep me busy. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can change S tier because I feel bad every time I move something, and then I feel bad when I don't move something. So I think we're going to keep that as is. That actually go right. Alright, so that is the completed tier list now. I wish some more games were on it. There were some games that were missing that I kind of thought they were already on, but again, like I was saying, this was the best tier list I could find for this type of tier list. So I'll leave it in the description if you guys want to go and do your own tier lists. There's some games down here that I need to play. Front Mission 3, Vagrant Story. I should probably play the Ogre games at some point. I might have. And oh, this Cluedeca, whatever the hell it's pronounced, as well. That game is haunted my dreams forever. Kind of want to check out this Hoshigami game as well. We'll probably be playing Mega Man Legends 2 on stream at some point. No, not 2, but Mega Man Legends on stream at one point. And maybe Legends 2. I think I own that one as well. And, you know, if you get anything out of this tier list, just remember that fuck Eternalize, right?